المدرسين الذين لم يعارضوا ولم يتحدوا أفكاري أو محاولاتي. وتم سؤالي من 90,000 من خلال النت، وناقشت هذا.
To Ambassador Ahmed Farouk and Consul Heidi Hossona for their considerable assistance. It goes without saying that without the generous and far-sighted support of His Excellency Professor Dr. Mamdouh Al-Damati, Minister of Antiquities, I would not be here addressing you today. I'm particularly grateful to the Minister for his own valuable observations within the two, which have provided key additional support for my original findings. I'd like now to lead you step by step along the evidence trail and explain the specific reasoning behind the dramatic conclusions I draw from it. By the end, I hope you'll agree that what we are faced with is both extraordinary and compelling, and certainly sufficient to warrant us taking a closer look with the aid of non-destructive radar and thermal imaging. Even before these latest developments, it was becoming apparent to a number of scholars that Tutankhamun's tomb represents a far more complex assemblage than has previously been recognized. A case in point is the famous gold mask. Gazed at by countless millions for the past 90 years, no one had actually noticed that this mask had never been intended for Tutankhamun at all. 6 years ago, at a conference held in Luxor to celebrate the opening of Howard Carter's house, I was able to show that the separately modelled face of Tutankhamun set within that mask is an ancient replacement, and that the headpiece had in fact originally been made for a woman. How do I know this? Because its functionally pierced ears indicate that the mask had once carried earrings, a form of jewellery never worn by kings beyond infancy. Furthermore, the cartouche has been altered. Comparison with traces of text inside the king's 4 gold canopic coffinets reveals the woman in question to have been Nefertiti, the original owner, as we are now beginning to see, of as much as 80% of Tutankhamun's burial furniture. With a mask and a burial equipment like that, it's obvious that Nefertiti had been no ordinary queen.
فرش الجنائي كان مجهز إلى الملكة، توفت قبل إخناتون وإنها دفنت في العمارنة، أثبت إنه خطأ.
It was simply because she changed her name.
هو غيرت اسمها.
Promotion first to the position of co-regent or junior ruler alongside Akhenaten.
على أنها أخذت رياضة مع إخناتون.
Independent pharaoh with the name Smenkhare.
وأصبحت باسم منفصل تماما.
Most of the equipment employed by Tutankhamun had been prepared during Nefertiti's co-regent phase.
والأساس الجنازي تم تأسيسه في نفرتيتى، وهي
suggests that
تحكم مع إخناتون.
had access to something very much better, a burial equipment commensurate with her final status as fully fledged pharaoh. We cannot say for certain because no evidence for Nefertiti's burial
وليس
come to light, or rather Nefertiti's burial had come to light until a year and a half ago.
ورأس نفرتيتي جاءت إلى الضوء من سنة ونصف.
Locating this tomb came with the online publication in 2014.
في سنة 2014 تم تصوير رقمي للمقبرة
from the conservation company Factum Arte.
Factum Arte
and it combined resolution photography painted scenes.
الصور والألوان في الحوائط في المقبرة
which underlie these scenes. Here we see aspects of this data.
مجموعة من هذه المعلومات
ranged out above and below the surface relief of the walls to which this technology.
على الجدران من الأعلى ومن الأسفل.
What has an archaeologist interested me about this new source of information?
والذي اهتميت به في هذه الفترة هذا المسح
which was evident
على
not seen the light of day
السطح فقط.
3,000 years.
لأن هذه
If we could lower the light a little to
تحت هذه الألوان
the images.
تحت هذه الألوان بعض هذه الألوان لم ترى الضوء لمدة 3000 سنة. رجاء تخصيص الإضاءة
I checked and rechecked every inch of the factory scans at all levels of magnification. The walls on the south and the east revealed little out of the ordinary.
شرق وجنوب المقبرة
highlighted in yellow on the location plan
باللون أصفر
told a very different story.
تقول قصة مختلفة تماما.
Here we see enlarged scans of the west wall.
نرى مسح كبير للحائط الغربية
on the right.
في إيجابي في الشمال وسلبي في الشمال.
Broken horizontal lines in the center of these scans, which are mere
نتجاهل الخطوط المستعرضة
throughs of the overlying painted surface.
لإعادة
vertical traces
تصوير المقبرة
here numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4.
في نمرة 1 2 3 4.
Studying these features closely, it becomes apparent that the slightly angled grade features 1 are almost certainly natural faults in the rock. Note, however, fault number 3, descending from the ceiling, sudden halt at the very same point when verticals 2 and 4 travel up from the floor. This precise combination of features is encountered in other Valley of the King's tombs in a specific context. The course of an mid-flow by the removal of bedrock to make a doorway below.
إلا إذا تم فتح باب من تحت
entrance to the treasury in Tutankhamun's tomb.
في مقبرة
On the right,
توتنخامون
clearly because there's no overlying glass
في الجزء
of the side in the tomb of Amenhotep
على أحد الغرف في مقبرة أمنحتب الثالث.
Recalling such parallels, I suspected we might be faced with
هذه المتوازيات
here
قد تؤدي إلى
so I
اكتشاف في
imagined on
مقبرة
the scan
توتنخامون
what I believed I could reasonably make out. This was the outline of a rock-cut doorway, which must, of course, subsequently have been reclosed with limestone
الذي تم إغلاقه بحجر من الجير وبالجس. وفي هذه المرحلة
doodling, thinking and testing.
كنت أشك وأعتبر
took a far more serious turn, however,
وتم الاهتمام بها بشدة
this apparent new doorway, where
لوجود هذا الباب
identical entrance to the annex. A correspondence in size which seemed to be a coincidence.
حجرة جانبية.
Shared dimensions suggest chambers cut at the same time and with a similar function.
تم فتح هذه الأبواب لأسباب مماثلة
لدفن indeed be concealing a further storage chamber.
هاورد كارتر
What renders the situation all the more intriguing is that it's possible actually to demonstrate that an additional storage chamber at this point had almost certainly been intended
جانبية جديدة تم اكتشافها بمهندسين مقبرة توتنخامون.
But Carter does in fact conform in all its fundamental respects to that of a regular royal tomb. It is manipulated a little. At left we see the analysis of the ground plan. One at the top shows two below is the excavator's proposed reconciliation, achieved by simply turning the yellow highlighted burial compartments 90 degrees to the left.
لو تم تحويل الجانب الأصفر إلى الشمال
with the plan of a regular royal tomb,
وفي الرسم رقم 2
we see that the Tutankhamun version currently lacks two side rooms. One at the left, marked with a and one at bottom right,
إلى حجرتين
Clearly the double
موضحة
star
بالنجمة والنجمتين.
present, since that position is now occupied by the entrance corridor. The missing single-starred room at top
الحجرة الأولية
precisely with the doorway I now discern located
الذي
with the decoration of Tutankhamun's.
شاهدتموه في الشرح السابق.
As the evidence, all the evidence combines, therefore, to suggest
كل هذه الشواهد تقترح
the presence of a
خلف هذه الحيطة الغربية
Shortly, artists' impression based on the size and shape of the annex. If this new chamber actually
إذا كانت هذه الحجرة
thermal imaging should
وصور رادار أثبتت
then
ذلك،
from the intact condition of the painted decoration that now
الألوان التي لم في حالة جيدة جدا
undisturbed.
نقترح هذه الحجرة
Well, that is
كما هي.
guess. But just to give an idea of possible numbers, its robbed partner storeroom, the annex, on clearance yielded in excess of 2,000 individual items, including chairs, boxes,
من القطع من الكراسي والسرائر.
Similar side chambers are known to have been adapted to receive subsidiary burials. It might contain the mummies of
أخذ هذه الحجرة لدفن إضافي
which, as Dr. Dalmati has suggested, was Kia, the woman thought by many of us to have been Tutankhamun's mother. A new side chamber within Tutankhamun's tomb, however, would be the icing on the cake. Let's take a look now at what I believe to be the real prize of the Factum Arte's hands.
ما أتمنى أن يكون حقيقي في هذا المسح.
As we have seen, Carter was able to
كما رأينا أن هاورد كارتر
what he could never quite
أخذ
explain
جزء من